YouTube be tripping. But this one, I got one of them old niggas going by on a Harley right now. Yeah, I know how old niggas on a Harley be. Loud as fuck. Well, I can't blame this on YouTube. For those of you who are watching my last show, my reading with Kanye, I think my software that I use to stream through Restream needs to be updated. Because it did the same shit with Randy Short that it did today when I got on Skype. When people called in, the shit kicked me out of goddamn YouTube and my streaming service. So, yeah, I apologize for the abrupt ending on the last show. And then I was gonna go out tonight to go listen to some music with the band I was gonna see. You know, sometimes at the last minute you be like, nah, I ain't going out. Well, that's what happened tonight. I ain't going out. What's up, Smoke Splitter? What's up, B Polly? What's up, Positive Influence? Marquise. That's right, B Polly. Nigga said I thought I got kidnapped. Ooh, yeah, I got 2 blunts for this talk tonight. I'll pile on in here, pile on here. I'm still waiting on some more people to get in here. But, yeah, man. And I wasn't going to no jazz spot tonight. Although the band that was playing tonight, they are a jazz band, but they play all kinds of different sounds. I was going to go to Fight Club tonight. Fight Club is a bar down in Long Beach. And for years, that's what the Free Nationals did their house. They were the Anderson .Paak's Free Nationals were the house band at the Fight Club for years. I don't say a house band. They're there like once a month on Friday. And it's a lot of local bands that play out of that spot on Fridays. So I was gonna go check out one of the bands tonight, but I don't feel like it. And I was going to, and then Fridays usually want to do incense and ashtrays, but I got to get my system up. Like, it's something going on with my software that I broadcast from that's making me quit out because it happened with Randy Short. That's why the Randy Short video got 2 videos, got a first part and a second part. Like, I'll still be able to talk on Skype, but the program that I stream through on my computer, that shit been tripping. So I'm like, let me just come back to y'all from my phone. I got my wine here, but I got it in the red cup. Drinking some Rustic Red from the Ojai Valley. Rustic Red is a combination of Pinot, Syrah, and Cab. Well, anyway, we talking about what went on with Jordan Poole and Draymond Green. Was that fair or foul? And I've been seeing people all day have their opinions, yay or nay. Is it or isn't it? Is it left? Is it right? Is it somewhere in the middle? And I see, I'm a Gemini, so I definitely see both sides of things. What's up, Amir? Yeah. How do I email me? Go to my website, breakthroughas.org, and book directly for a reading. breakthroughas.org. Breakthrough, BREAK, through, THROUGHAS, dot, ORG. Gee, you dig? That's where you go. But let's talk about this from a 360 point of view, okay? First off, the tape was leaked, all right? And it was leaked by somebody on the team. And I don't buy that story TMZ is saying, hey, they paid such and such amount of $1 million for the tape. I don't believe that at all. Someone within the Warriors organization, I believe, allegedly, wanted that tape out there. Why do I say that? Why do I say they wanted that tape out there? Because, one, everything that happens in the NBA is controlled. Everything that reaches the media is controlled. If TMZ leaked an official NBA practice footage without the consent of the team, TMZ runs the risk of losing access to anything on that team or anything NBA. So know this, whenever something is officially that happened at an official NBA game, official NBA practice, even if someone wanted to sell TMZ the footage, TMZ is going to call the league and be like, hey, this is what I got. They're going to call the it's not the league, they're going to call the Warriors because they don't want to lose access to what the Warriors got going on. Trust me, TMZ probably buries 10 times as many stories as they play. I promise you that. So from one angle, this shit is contrived. From another angle, teams get in fights all the time in practice, especially training camp. This is what's going on in training camp. In training camp, you have players trying to make the team. You have veteran players trying to keep their spots. You have younger players trying to take their spots. You have bench players trying to become starters and starters that don't want to go to the bench. The NBA contracts are shorter now. So players, have shorter windows. See, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, you can sign a 7-year deal. You can make big money, then you can fuck around for like 4 or 5 years because you got guaranteed money for 7, and then the last 2 years of that deal play good. Nowadays, long-term deals are 4 years, so you ain't really got time to fuck around like that. So practices, especially training camps, are highly competitive. Draymond Green is in a contract year. Why do I think the Warriors leaked that tape? I think they leaked it specifically because Draymond Green is in a contract year. Let me tell you how that works. When an NBA player is in a contract year, especially if they're black, everything is on the table, and any infraction can deduct from your contract. Rasheed Wallace was always on the court worth a maximum contract. But because Rasheed Wallace used to get so many technicals and get kicked out of games and his attitude was bad, Rasheed Wallace never really got the big $120 million deals like he should have gotten. He was getting like $60 and $80 million deals when he should have been getting $130 million deals. But attitude. Now, you could be white. Jokic, on the other hand, this motherfucker done had fights. This motherfucker done got kicked out of playoff games. Remember, Jokic injured himself and a teammate from a fight. They still gave him all his bread. But a black player, everything has to be to a T. So every infraction a black player has that's going to cut down the dollar amounts of his contract. 2, if the Warriors are probably in all likelihood going to trade Draymond. Teams care about their persona and how they're covered and how they look to their fan base. Draymond is a very, very, very popular Golden State Warrior. So if the right trade proposal comes along and you can trade Draymond because you're not willing to pay him $170 million as he's requesting, you know you're not going to pay him that, so you know you probably want to trade him. But here's the situation. How do you trade a player that the fans love? Let me tell you how. You throw dirt on said player's name. Because now when it's time to trade that player, the fans are going to be like, oh, he's fighting his teammates anyway. He had to go. Warriors fans, when a trade deadline comes and it's time to trade Draymond, or sometime before then, if they get the right deal, the Warriors ain't going to make a bad deal for Draymond. So I can see them waiting the year out. But a trade with him is very much in play. They got the young kid Wiseman who missed all last year. They got Wiseman that can play, that's coming back. Jordan Poole is young. They're going to keep him. And so if you put that image out there of Draymond swinging, you notice the Warriors put the image of him swinging out there without telling the story of what caused him to swing. What did Poole say to make him swing? They're not putting that out there. And they're not putting that out there because they don't want you to know. They want you to look at Draymond as a big, ugly, dark-skinned, mean, temper tantrum guy, which we all know Draymond Green is a tempered kind of cat. He's played his whole career like that. He cost his team a championship in 2016 because of his goddamn emotions. He cost his team Kevin Durant because of his goddamn emotions. He's an emotional nigga. So we already know that. So why release his footage? I'm sure this isn't the first time. Judging by that swing that Draymond threw, that shit was perfect, boy. Draymond, you saw the way his shoulders were squared and the way his arm unfurled that punch? Nigga, his arm was straight. Draymond done throw some... I could tell by the way Draymond swung on him, that nigga has done been in fights before. You better believe it. Don't nobody that swing like that not get in plenty of fights in their life. So, what I'm saying was, he said that was a fatal fury punch. See, that's why I'll be reading the chat room. You niggas is funny, dog. I'm gonna finish this train of thought, then I'm gonna get back to y'all in the chat room because I do like hearing what y'all got to say. But y'all some funny motherfuckers in the chat room. Like y'all know, people who know me regularly, watch the show regularly, y'all know when I watch the chat, I be losing my goddamn train of thought because you niggas be saying some funny shit and some good shit too. Sometimes it ain't funny. Sometimes it's just like, oh yeah. You'll say some shit in the chat room that'll take me on a whole nother perspective. So, but I'll be wanting to get my perspective off first before I go down that line. So I'm gonna finish this little tangent, then I'm gonna get back to y'all in the chat room. Well, anyway, as I smoke this reefer, this is called some Barack Runts. Obama. These are called Obama Runts. I'm smoking on right now. Well, anyway, the NBA teams play chess. Fights like this happen all training camp. Every year, somebody's getting their ass whooped in practice. Every season, on every team. You can bet on it. You can bet on it. Let me tell you something I know about being very, very, very close to the NBA for close to a decade. The best shit, the most juicy shit that happens in and around the NBA never gets reported. They report to you guys the bullshit. I done seen fights. I was just on this show last week I was telling you about the fight between Zach Randolph and Kendrick Perkins when Zach Randolph knocked out Kendrick Perkins after a game because Kendrick Perkins was running his fucking mouth. Everybody knew If he was on the in crowd about that fight, it was but that shit never got leaked. That shit happened in the stadium. And you know stadiums have cameras. Basketball stadiums, especially behind stage, in the locker room where the team buses meet and the friends are, there are cameras that cover every inch of basketball stadiums. Every inch. And that knockout happened in Minnesota. I've been to the Minnesota. I've been up there in the Target Center in Minneapolis. I've been to that locker room. I've been in the Target Center locker room. I've been in the Target Center friends and family room. I've been all throughout that arena. It's cameras that cover every fucking inch. But that video never got leaked. Because there's no agenda behind that. There's an agenda behind this. And I'm not saying it's a massive race. It's not an agenda of racism, nothing like that, no. The agenda is the Warriors don't want to pay Draymond Green, and they probably want to trade him. While they can still get some good value and get some draft picks for him. So you kill two birds with one stone. If he decides to stay and resign, you use this as a way to pay him less money. That's option number one. Option number two, when it's time to trade him, your fan base is not mad at you. Your fan base understands. Your fan base is saying, hey, he knocked out what's his name, Poole, so he got to go. So that's the chess match, all right? So now we get into the fight, it says, itself, all right? People that have opinions on both sides. I'm seeing people say that Draymond Green sucker punched him. I'm seeing people saying that Draymond Green was right. I'm seeing other people say that Poole. But I'm seeing a lot of people really shit on Draymond Green. And my question is, why? I can understand the women getting mad at Draymond Green because women have a different approach to resolving issues than men. But men? Black men been looking real weak this year when they've been taking some L's publicly this past year. Y'all got mad at Will Smith for slapping Chris Rock. Now you mad at Draymond Green for socking Jordan Poole. And niggas made it seem as if, no, because Will Smith is a simp. And is Will Smith a simp? Maybe, I don't know. But that's his bitch he chose. He chose Jada Pinkett. And if he feels, I'm never going to get mad at a man for defending his woman. Now, to that, I say choose better women. Choose a woman that's not going to put you in that situation. That's what I got to say to the fellas. Make sure you get with a woman that's not going to put you in no bullshit-ass situation like what happened with Will Smith. Because we see how Jada Pinkett move. But bigger than Jada Pinkett, Will Smith and Chris Rock's been having issues for a minute. Yay. Have a good one. Yes, sir. Will Smith and Chris Rock, they've been having confrontations for a minute over all kind of other shit. So the way I saw it was, that was Will Smith making his own decision because of his issues with Chris Rock. And if you want to go on stage and slap a nigga, whether you simping or not, I ain't got nothing to say because at the end of the day, that's your bitch. He didn't kill him. Now, if you go ahead and shoot somebody and take somebody off this earth, that's something different. But a fight, you both gonna live. If that's what he felt like seeing all these dudes mad at somebody else, especially when niggas be talking, niggas be the first one to be like, man, I'll slap a motherfucker if they doop. Niggas be the first ones, let's just tell the truth, black men. Niggas be the first ones talking about how they gonna whoop somebody's ass. Man, if that somebody did that to me, man, I'll whoop their ass. If that motherfucker said that to me, man, I'll whoop their ass. If somebody do this to me, man, I'll whoop your motherfucking ass. Niggas talk about whooping ass all goddamn day. Then the minute somebody whoops somebody's ass, you saying he shouldn't have done that. What kind of schizophrenic shit is that? Huh? Huh? If a dude feels so passionate about something, he swing, then me personally, I'm not one to fight. I don't like fighting. I don't, but I also know that there are man rules. Let me break it down for the young dudes in here. The cats that are under 30, the cats that are under 35, even some of y'all maybe a little older. Some people, unfortunately, and I don't say this in a funny way, because it's unfortunate. Some people were, one, either raised without a father or raised with a father that himself didn't have a high level of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is very important, and too many people don't have it. That's why, like Jada, the self-esteem queen, she teaches emotional intelligence to children. Buy her candles right now. She teaches emotional intelligence. You dig? But a lot of people don't know that and don't have it. So that's the world that we live in. So rule number one, young black men, don't start none, won't be none. It's a fire ambulance coming down the street, so it's about to get real loud. But that's an ambulance. That's a fire truck. It's about to get real loud. That fire truck is coming. And so turn their goddamn lights on. Come on. Come on, come on. Oh, that's the big fire truck, the one with the ladder on it. That means some shit must be on fire. They don't send that motherfucker unless it's a fire going on. That's the long truck. I got a fire truck. I got a fire station on the end of my block. So fire trucks be up and down this motherfucker. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. See that fire truck that just went by? That's probably for somebody who just got their ass knocked out for running their mouth too fucking much. We live in this world to where people, especially with the internet now, people feel they can talk reckless. Rule number one is don't start none, won't be none. If Chris Rock leave, there's a rule. You don't talk about people's wives, man. I don't give a fuck how ratchet or degenerate you may think she is. You might have fucked her before yourself. If you're a man, you done fucked somebody's wife before. You got a chick on your Facebook feed right now. If you a live nigga, you got chicks on your Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook right now who are happily married, and you know you used to dog walk that pussy. You know it. Even in that situation, you don't bring up, she's now married. You don't bring her up. You don't bring her up. I'm talking just flat out man laws. I might have to just do some just gentleman etiquette talk on here more. Let's just talk about being a gentleman, a real man, a gentleman. A gentleman is someone who protects his environment and at the right time nurtures his environment. You gotta nurture what you protect. And nurture don't mean, there's a masculine form of nurturing. There's a feminine side of nurturing, and there's a masculine side of nurturing. And the masculine side of nurturing is to protect and provide. But provide is more than just food. But provide is also being there mentally and emotionally for the people who need you the most. That's also part of manhood. Another part of manhood is don't kiss and tell. Be a gentleman with the women you have sex with. Have sex with as many women as you want, but tell the women the truth about your intentions when it comes to having sex. Yes, 80% of them are gonna say it's cool, and 80% of the women gonna say it's cool. Then when they get into it, they gonna flip on your ass. But when they flip on you, brothers, when they do flip on you, you have the heart of knowing that you told the truth going into it. And for the few that won't flip on you, you'll have a good thing. Make sure you let your women know your intentions. Don't be deceptive, fucking fellas. The same way, that's what I'm gonna say on Fox on too. They talking about these trannies and shit. Yeah, they gotta identify themselves. But for the straight men, you gotta identify your intentions. Be straight up. And don't kiss and tell. When you have sex with a woman, that's between you and her. Whatever y'all do in that bedroom is y'all's business. Don't go telling your boys everything that between you and these girls be doing. Especially if you like her. It's a guarantee. Eight out of 10 niggas, you tell what you do in that bed, 9 out of 10 niggas, 97 out of 100 niggas is gonna go right behind your back and try to do that same thing with that girl that you talking about. And she could be your wife. So watch how the fuck you talk about what you do in the bedroom around other men. Gentlemen don't kiss and tell. It leaves you vulnerable. Because part of the defense is making sure that we all got a backside. We all got holes in our game. We all got parts of our game that's lacking. But you want to control the parts you can control. And part of being a man is not letting people into your bedroom activities. Your bedroom activities are your bedroom activities. Be a gentleman with the ladies. And I promise you, fellas, and take this from a fat nigga who I was single. Yeah, I've been knowing my wife for a long time, but my 20s, especially my early 20s, I was single like a motherfucker. Take it from a fat nigga that got as much as I wanted. I've never had an issue with women. So if you an in shape nigga and you having problems with women, it's probably because of how you talk to them. You don't know how to talk to them. You don't know how to act. You're not a gentleman. And another part of the man rules is making sure that you're a gentleman and you're choosing the right type of women to be around. Now, if you choosing to sleep with ratchets, know that some ratchet shit gonna get thrown your way in life. You're gonna have to deal with ratchet shit. You sleep with ratchet women, you deal with ratchet repercussions, okay? And if you're fine with that, because look, ratchet pussy, good pussy. Let's just tell the truth. I ain't gonna say it ain't. It must not have been a fire. They coming back all peaceful now. Shit must have been a false alarm. Well, anyway, ratchet pussy, good pussy. And and it's another rule, fellas, if she can cook real good, if she look good, and she like 50 and never been married, she probably crazy as fuck. But she gonna have some fire pussy. I get it. And for the young people listening, yes, this may sound vulgar. Parents, let your kid listen to some vulgar shit from a person that got a good heart. Because your kids are listening to vulgar shit all goddamn day, every day at school when you ain't around. So don't be fake and be like, ooh, my kids are listening. Your kid hear 10 times worse than this. And if your kid listening to this right now, they probably laughing right now. Look at their face. They probably laughing. Anyway, that's part of it. If you choose to be with ratchets, I don't judge. Just understand what you choose to be with. But if you choose to be with a higher elevation of woman, if you're choosing to deal with a more elevated woman, with a woman that has her shit together, because they are out there. If you listen to a lot of these YouTube experts who ain't married, they're gonna make it seem as if all these women are bad, that women ain't shit, that it ain't nothing but a bunch of horrible women who want to be masculine and going around. That's what these weak single niggas will say. Let me tell you something, fellas. It's a lot of good women out there. It's a lot of good women. It's a lot of good women. But a good woman ain't gonna fall under the leadership of a fool. Let me say that again. A good woman ain't gonna allow herself to be led by a fool. All right? So you want to practice being a gentleman so you attract that level of woman. Remember, the law of attraction is real when it comes to relationship. You get what you are. Let me say that again. You get what you are. You meet in life the exact reproduction of your thoughts. Let me say that again. You meet in life the exact reproduction of your thoughts. So if what you're meeting in life is something that you're not cool with, you want to check in with yourself. For real, man. And I want to salute the men out here. I've been getting so many reading requests from men. Y'all don't know how the fuck good that make me feel. I still get, look, women have been into cardology and shit like this. Women have been into going to get a reading and esoteric thoughts and metaphysics. That's old school for women. Niggas usually, we act like we got all our shit together and we don't be wanting to solve, we don't be wanting to fix problems that we have in ourselves. I'll say this. I've had a lot of men hit me up for readings. And I'm proud of that, man, because it's been like, because as a man, I can speak to you as a man. And I can see what's going on in your life, and I can get exactly on what needs to happen. And I can speak to it from a male perspective. I want to say that I'm proud of all the men that have been calling me and booking me for sessions. I'm proud, man. Y'all don't know how proud I am of that. You're right. He's in the room, Larry. Yeah, Larry, you're right, Larry. Crazy pussy, good pussy, man. Shit. And if she look good and she can cook and she got good pussy and she ain't married, nigga, run. Hit that pussy and run, brothers. But anyway, my bad. No disrespect to the ladies. I'm just trying to talk to the fellas right here. Because I'm trying to have a holistic conversation about fair or foul, the Draymond Green situation. That's still the topic. I have not lost the topic, people. It may seem as if I've taken a left turn or taken a divergence, but we're talking about this holistically, okay? You gotta watch what you say, fellas. Just like you gotta watch the women you choose. You choose the wrong woman, she can fuck you out some money. Let's talk, man. Yeah, I took that left turn, but the left turn is a necessary turn because you got to realize a story is 360 degrees. 360 degrees ain't a straight line. A straight line is 0 degrees. You got to keep turning if you want to make that circle complete, right? You dig? But let's just talk about this when it comes to interacting and making decisions. The woman you choose can either help you make money or can cost you. I look at my mom. She was always 100% in support of whatever my dad's decisions were. My dad never had to be worried about what his wife was going to think about his decisions because he had a woman. He chose a woman. And I remember how my dad told me he chose my mom. Let me tell y'all a story of how my dad chose my mom. My dad had a lot of women back in the day. If y'all saw that picture I put up on Instagram, my dad's Cadillac in his fro, you see why. But my dad had his set of ladies, like a lot of men do in their 20s. This is back in the 70s, before ATMs, when if you didn't get your money out the bank on Friday, You just didn't have no fucking money for the weekend. There were no ATMs back then. This was a different world for you young niggas. Hell, this before I was born. But I do remember this world. Because I remember back in the 90s when I didn't have an ATM card. But anyway, you didn't get no money. So my dad had spent he was out partying and his battery went dead. And Pops was in a rough spot and he didn't have, and there was a few other things that happened. He called a couple of his chicks and he knew they wouldn't, they wanted to go out. He couldn't go out. They wasn't fucking with it. My mom was like, oh, your battery's dead? Oh, shit, I get you a battery. And my mom got my dad a battery for the weekend. My dad had money. My dad wasn't broke by no means. My dad, sometimes, a nigga didn't make it to the bank in time on Friday. To get, and I'm stuck in a situation. And my mom helped him through that situation. And you know what my dad told me? My dad told me when she did that, he was only with her for like 6 months when she did that. He knew that she was the one. He said, because any woman that got my back and she not judging me, that's the one to be with. And 42 goddamn years later, 43 years later, they still together. I was with my parents yesterday. Niggas was just coming back from the casino again. Like, God damn, y'all always going out. So you gotta know what woman to choose, fellas. Versus other stories. I've seen men choose women. Like, for me, when I met Tashina Arnold last week, like when she saw me, it was like one of the greatest moments ever. Like she's like, Dwan B. And she ran up and gave me the biggest hug. And she was so happy to meet me, but I was like 10 times happier to meet her. And we really had a moment. Me and Tashina Arnold really had a moment. And my wife was there, and my wife was so happy. My wife wasn't no jealous bitch talking about that's my husband. What you doing on him? Or giving that, because y'all know, women, y'all know, for the women in here in the chat room, y'all know, y'all can give off some energy like a motherfucker. My wife could have given her one of those back off bitch energies, and Miss Tashina would have felt it if she did. But my wife knew better than that, because my wife is an intelligent woman. She understands that, I have a public persona now, and whatever needs to happen, and if she sees that I'm happy about something, my wife knows to lend her happiness to my happiness. That helps me in the long run. But a lot of these niggas be getting with chicks. You get a moment like that. You get another woman coming to you. Your broad ready to fight. Or she giving that strong bitch energy, that feminine nonverbal communication that we men don't see and only 2 women pick up. Press the number 1 if you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Press the number 1 if you know what the fuck I'm talking about. How women can give off that strong energy that dudes, we be like, what you talking about? And the 2 women, they ready to cut each other's motherfucking throat. Watch who the fuck you marry, niggas. So, why am I saying all this? I'm saying this as a man. We have to control, everything starts at 1. Draymond Green firing on old boy, that was step 4, 5. As a man, you're in control at 1. That's why the music comes back to the 1. The funk comes back to the 1. 1 is the basis, nucleus, what starts it all. It's the initial point of action. The 1 dictates where everything else goes. So when it comes down to the 1, you have control over your speech with people, how you talk to people. You have control over the woman you choose to make your main woman. You have control over that. That's where the decision, that is the point the right decision needs to be made. Right there. Kansas City, Missouri. Have a good one, brother or sister. I think it's a one brother. Salute to Kansas City, Missouri, signing out. So what I'm saying is this to the young fellas. You got control over one. If you mess up number one, you can't control how number two is going to come back. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. You have life laws at work here. You get the energy you put out. So you got to be in control as a man of one when it comes to dealing with two. Because you don't know what's going on with two. Two could be a good person that's having a bad day. Two could be a bad person that can't wait to do something bad. You don't know that. So you got to control your one. You dig what I'm saying? What's up, American Negro? You got to control your one. And in the situation with Jordan Poole and Draymond Green, what I saw was this. I saw a lot of huffing going on. And as a man, you got to know, especially on the basketball court, I hooped all the way up until I couldn't hoop, up until I tore my knee and couldn't hoop anymore. You already knowing there's a certain level of passion and aggression on the basketball court. You know that. It's like that at the park. So just know that in the NBA, whatever you experience at the park, multiply that by 1,000. Because people's money and family and hope, life dreams on the line at this point. You already know once it gets to huffing, the possibility of an ass whooping has now entered the picture. If you're just talking regular, you're not thinking about fight. Just somebody just punches you. That's a sucker punch. We talking, hey, John, how's it going? Slap. The next nigga take off on somebody. Like, nigga, I just said good morning. Why we fighting? That's a sucker punch. Now, if Poole walked up to Draymond Green was like, hey, Draymond, let's have a good practice. And then Draymond knocked his ass out, then that's a sucker punch. But you already yip-yapping and jaw-jacking. As a man, you got to know when you yip-yapping and jaw-jacking, boom, the window to ass whoopings is now opened. You got to then make a decision. Do I say, you know what? I don't even have that energy today, so let me just de-escalate the situation by not woofing back. Sometimes the smartest decision you can make, especially if you know you don't want to fight, is just don't woof back. Let them have it. Energy only gets bigger when you give it energy. You have to back off. This is where your emotional intelligence comes in. Emotions are now involved. People are yip-yapping and jaw-jacking. You have to, feel that energy. And then if you're emotionally intelligent enough, you can feel the amount of intensity coming off. Because sometimes you yip-yapping and it's just fun and games and you playing. But other times you jaw-jacking and you can feel some people feel a certain way. That's where you got to be in touch with yourself. That's where, as a man, you have to be in touch with your gentleman aspect, the nurturing aspect, because that's the part that's going to have you emotionally open enough to feel the vibrations of the situation that you're in. Okay? 8% of communication is verbal. 92% of communication is nonverbal. Always remember that. 92% of communication is nonverbal. But you have to be emotionally open enough to receive and understand the nonverbal cues being thrown at you, because the nonverbal cues are being thrown at you every second of every interaction with every human being you're ever going to interact with. The nonverbal cues tell you the truth. So when you go back and watch the video, you see Draymond's body language. Draymond's not playing. And we know this. And Poole should know better than we do. We see this shit on TV. Draymond is a person that does not have much emotional intelligence. He doesn't have control over his emotions. Draymond's emotions have control over him. We saw it in 2016. He literally cost his team a championship because he couldn't control his emotions. He ran Kevin Durant out of town because he couldn't control his emotions. So just say if you don't have any emotional intelligence and you just in your head and your mind, you gotta already know you're dealing with a fool that don't know how to control himself. Now he's woofing, you woofing. That's fine if you're ready to fight. If you don't mind throwing hands, keep woofing. That's cool. But you gotta know, if you keep woofing, the possibility of an ass whooping is open. That's all I'm saying. You gonna keep woofing, you better be a motherfucking wolf, nigga. The internet has got niggas used to woofing with no consequence. That's the problem with the internet. And the problem with not enough fathers being in our communities is women have had control over how these issues get resolved. And in Black society, unfortunately, we lived in a matriarchal society. And I'm not saying living in a matriarchal society is bad. What I'm saying is this: living in a matriarchal subculture under a dominant patriarchal culture is what's bad. Because the dominant culture is patriarchal. The Black community is matriarchal. And when you're dealing with men who solve issues like women, when you saw women that in that situation, you have grown ass men running around believing that woofing is going to solve all the problems. Woof, 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 woof. And ain't nobody gonna check your woofing. You gotta know as a man, when you dealing with men, and this is what my father would always tell me, men don't take disrespect. And you never know what the next man's, how long his wick is. Wick for like talking about the explosives. I'll never forget my father. It was 4th of July. And I used to like playing with the fireworks and the firecrackers on 4th of July. So one day my dad was talking to me about, how to behave myself. And he was like, when you light a firecracker, it has like a little string that comes out. I said, yeah. He said, that's called a wick. He said, the danger of firecrackers is some got a short wick, some got a long wick. But with a firecracker, you can see the length of the wick and how much time you have between lighting that fire and the firecracker blowing up. Pops was like, I was like 14 when he told me this message. We was at the Magic, it was a situation we had saw at the Magic Johnson Theater. Like we had saw some other dudes get into an altercation at the Magic Johnson Theater. And so when we came home, my dad was breaking that situation down to me. He was like, when you're dealing with people with a firecracker, you can see the length of the wick. But when you're dealing with men, you can't. You don't know how long another man's wick is. So don't start stuff with people because some people could take a little, some people could take a lot. My cousin Fred, my Uncle Fred, he would always use my Uncle Fred as an example. Rest in peace, Uncle Fred. I really wish Uncle Fred was alive, man. I would introduce y'all to him. But Uncle Fred was somebody who loved to fight. My dad and Uncle Fred used to be in karate. And like their karate teacher was Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris used to have a karate school over on Wilshire in the early 70s before he became a famous actor. And my dad, my Uncle Michael, and my Uncle Fred's not officially he's my dad's best friend, but I call him Uncle Fred. My dad and Uncle Fred was in Chuck Norris's karate school on Wilshire. Like near Wilshire and La Brea, like 1970, 71. And Fred was the kind of person, when he saw Jim Kelly getting all those roles on TV in the Bruce Lee movies, my cousin Fred, my Uncle Fred was a fucking brown belt. And he would enroll in the same tournaments as Jim Kelly because he wanted to whoop Jim Kelly's ass. He thought Jim Kelly was too pretty in them Bruce Lee movies. So Uncle Fred used to go and enroll in the same tournaments as Jim Kelly so he could whoop his ass. Like, that's how much Uncle Fred liked to fight. Uncle Fred was so bad, he told somebody he was gonna whoop his ass, and he didn't see that dude for like 5 or 6 years. When he saw him 5 or 6 years later, he whooped his ass. This is the same Uncle Fred who used to work as a bus driver here in LA. And when he was a bus driver, somebody got off the bus, like some lady cussed him out when she got off the bus. Some Mexican lady said, cuz Uncle Fred, this nigga parked the bus and whooped her ass. Like, Fred used to love fighting. So my dad got to see that shit up front. Like, man, Fred got a short wick. And my dad would always use Fred as an example. Because there was a while in the late 80s where Fred had whooped the wrong person's ass and got locked up in jail for it. You know what I mean? And my dad, when I was a kid, used that as an example for me. He was like, see, you got people like Fred walking around. And you can't say anything because a person like him, you say the wrong thing to him, he ready to fight. And he's always going to be ready to fight. And then he would contrast that with like one of my other cousins, one of my cousins, Reggie. And Reggie was like hella passive. No, not Reggie, Dana, my cousin Dana. My cousin Dana was like hella passive. And my dad would contrast the two. So he'd be like, sometimes you're going to deal with Dana's, sometimes you're going to deal with Fred's. But you don't know who you dealing with. So don't start no shit. So, I got this neighbor with a Charger, and that motherfucker act like they ain't never started their car before. I think they work late because they always leave about the same time. There they go. Yeah. That's the... When y'all hear that Charger on my late night lives, yes, that's the same person. That's the same. I have a neighbor that just... They got that shit like 4 months ago, nigga. And they still ain't got used to it. They got a fucking muffler on their goddamn 2014 Charger. You know how niggas is when they get something new on an old ass car. Well, anyway, that's what I was talking about. As a man, fellas, you can only control one. You can't control two. So you huffing and puffing. Okay, boom. Possibility of a fight. That's the first part of the scenario. 2, you're huffing and puffing with a nigga who has proven throughout his life has very little emotional intelligence and very little control over his emotions. to the point he cost his championship, not just one championship, his team not just one championship, but a possibility of 4 or 5 more. Because if Kevin Durant stayed, trust me, the motherfuckers would have kept, yeah. Even though they won now, they would have won the year before that too, if he stayed. So you're dealing with a person, you're huffing and puffing with a person that can't control his emotions. Now, body language. Draymond walks towards you in an aggressive manner. Combination, huffing and puffing, yip-yapping and jaw-jacking. Emotionally, a man that can't control his emotions, walking towards you in an aggressive manner. That's 3 signs the chance of whoop ass is on the way. All right? Listen to me, to you young niggas out there who think that because it's been cool that you run your mouth and yip yap and jaw jack on the internet, that the rest of the world, that other men are gonna accept that. No, the fuck they ain't. Not in real life. Not when dealing with a real nigga. Or not just a real nigga. Not when dealing with somebody, especially not when dealing with somebody who can't control their emotions. Like Draymond has proven he can't over about a 10-year period. He the same nigga. He was doing the same shit 10 years ago. You don't huff and puff with a nigga that can't control himself, that's walking towards you with aggressive body language. That's 3 steps. That's 3 chances to know. On guard, nigga. At least bend your knees, put one foot behind the other and get in your fighting stance. At least have your hands up. You may not still at this point. You got those 3 indications that this person possibly wants to fight, and you still may not want to fight. Okay, cool. At least at this point, have your hands ready to block a fist to your face, or at least be in position to tuck and roll. You dig what I'm saying? At least be like have your body like get that Philly shell defense. You know what I mean? Just show your right shoulder. Just show that shoulder. You know what I mean? So when that punch come, you can slip that hoe and tackle this nigga. How you gonna be talking all that shit with a nigga coming at you aggressively? And I didn't even get to the worst part yet. He's in your face now, in your grill. He's face to face. That's the body language saying, I want to fight. Now, when someone gets in your face and they're damn near kissing you, that means the fight has been greenlit. Now it comes down to who swings first. When it's chest to chest, face to face, the fight has been greenlit. At least be ready. That's not, and for you niggas saying that's a sucker punch, that's not a sucker punch. Shit talking. Clue number 1, there's tension. Body language. Clue number 2, there's tension. Walking towards you in an aggressive manner. Clue number 3, there's tension. Chest to chest, face to face. Clue number 1, oh, he's ready to fight. That's a definite let's throw down gesture. I am in your face now. I have broken. See, when a person doesn't want to fight, they're still going to respect your personal boundary. When someone steps inside your personal boundary space, and in America, that personal boundary space is 4 to 6 feet. Different countries have different boundary spaces. But in America, 3 to 5 feet. That's the American boundary. 3 feet away. We don't like, Americans don't like people getting inside 3 feet. Some cultures, like certain Middle Eastern cultures, their boundaries are like 6 inches. That's why if you deal with if you have a foreign friend and they're new to this country, they'll be all up in your fucking face. Different cultures have different boundaries. In an American culture, 3 to 5 feet is the normal space of boundary between two people in a civil conversation. We don't like people getting within 3 feet of us. So when someone steps inside your 3 feet, that means it's two extremes. Either they love you and want to hug you, like the legendary Tashina Arnold did me last week, and I still feel that hug, sister. That was the greatest hug I ever had in my, like, not the greatest hug I've had, my motherfucking wife. But that was the greatest hug of somebody I never met before. I've ever had. Of people I've like never met before, that was the greatest hug ever. Because I felt the love. You dig? I feel the love when I hug my sister. My sister's my best friend. I love my sister. When I see my sister, I always hug my sister. I love my sister. My mom, I always hug my mom. I always hug my wife. You get inside that boundary of 3 feet when there's extreme love, when there's extreme compassion. My fellas, when you with your boy, you dap it up, and the people that you love the most, you bring it in. Now niggas, black men, niggas don't hug titty to titty. Niggas have a motherfucking handshake in between that hug. It's like, bring it in. No, but sometimes, I'll take that back. If you ain't seen, sometimes you really do go for the whole hug, but for the most part, 90% of the time, if you love it, if you got nothing but love for her, you gonna dap it up and you gonna bring it in. You break the 3 feet of boundary when you show extreme love. You don't break that 3 feet for people you don't love. And then there's the opposite side. You break that 3 feet for people you ready to fight. You break that 3 feet. Niggas said their breath stink is 6 feet and over. That's funny. But even more than Miss Tashina Arnold, like I've had hugs from fans that listen to this show, and I felt the genuine love, like for real. You feel it. You feel the love. You break 3 feet for love and hate, that nothing in between. You break the 3 feet for love and hate. And it may not be you love the person, and there's different levels of love too. Love isn't just sexual. Sexual is just one level of love. Some love, certain people you love because they feed your spirit in a certain way. And they give you something spiritually that you needed, so you love them for that. You don't want to do nothing freaky or frisky with them. Matter of fact, you don't even want to be there. You don't even want to hang out with them. You just love the fact that they feed you in a certain way. Some people feed you. You love them because they give you something emotionally. Other people, you love them because they give you something psychically to think about. Other people, you love them because you just some people, you just love them because they trip you, they make you laugh. They entertain you. It's different levels of love. You dig what I'm saying? It's different levels of love, and all of them are beautiful. Like when I read cards, I could tell you the difference between a physical love and a psychic love. I could tell you when I read your cards and your composite cards, I'll tell you exactly what the attraction is between you two people and what the end result's gonna be. Where your point of view is, where your issue, all that shit's in the cards. But back to what I was saying. So, you say, what video just played on NBC, Positive Influence? But anyway, if you break 3 feet and the energy is a contention, you've been talking shit. You're dealing with an emotionally unstable dude walking towards you in an aggressive body language, and they break 3 feet. That means they're ready to fight. Those things right there tells you it was not a sucker punch. That was a fair fade. I've been talking to you guys for 65 minutes and 26 seconds to tell you that was a fair fade. As you see the waxing moon above my head, waxing when the moon is getting bigger, waning is when it's getting smaller, but it's waxing, and you see Jupiter. Oh shit, do you see Jupiter too? Y'all see the moon? Where my camera at? Y'all see the moon right there? And that's Jupiter. And the moon. And Saturn is somewhere over there. But that's Jupiter right there. Well, anyway, I'm an astronomy nerd. Fuck y'all if you got a problem with it. Back to what I'm talking about. You gotta. That's not a sucker punch. Now you may not have liked what Draymond Green did. That's for you to decide. You know what I mean? You don't have to agree with what he did. We all have our own opinions, and I'm not here to say I'm right and you wrong. We all got our own opinions on how Draymond reacted, if it was the right level. But first of all, let me say this: my opinion and your opinion is irrelevant because we don't know what Poole said. We don't know what Jordan Poole said. Jordan Poole could have said, your girlfriend's pussy tastes like oxtails. We don't know. What if he said some real disrespectful shit? What if he said, what if Jordan Poole said, your mama looked like Leslie Jones? Then I'd understand why Draymond wanted to swing on him. You know, what if Poole? Because you know some of you niggas be slick out there. Poole could be the kind of nigga when they hang out. Draymond probably don't like him. I don't know how he is. I'm just throwing scenarios out there to open the discussion and to open the way you guys are perceiving what's going on. We all know, fellas, and some of you niggas maybe just want that person. I hope you ain't that person, but it's about 15 niggas in here who is that nigga. At least 40 niggas. It's a lot of dudes out there who, when they see a dude with a chick, they come by and be saying some slick shit. And you out here at the club with a chick, trying to get one to come back to the hotel. It's always that one nigga that come by and be like, oh nigga, that one you had last night though. Y'all know that nigga that come by when you with a chick and he say some low-level, sneak diss, hater shit on the low. It'd be unreasonable to whoop his ass right now, but you picked up on what he was throwing. You got niggas who are like that. And say that nigga's on your team. And that nigga's yip-yapping and jaw-jacking all day. You might want to whoop his ass. And it may not be just because of what he's saying right now. He could have just said some regular shit. But you got in the back of your mind, I don't fuck with this nigga anyway. He really a hater, weird-ass nigga. And if you a real nigga, you know what I'm talking about. Salute to all the real niggas that listen to this podcast. You know the fuck I'm talking about. These niggas exist. You be with a chick doing what you do, and they always got some slick little idle jab. And all it takes is an opportunity for some emotions to arise for you to whoop their ass. These things happen all the time. We know that's how it is, fellas. We know how it is, fellas. So I'm saying, and I'm speaking. This is me speaking from the perspective of somebody who'd rather not fight. To me, I'm good with my words. I think my person, I know how to separate me from a scenario that I'm watching. I think personally, any grown ass man fighting in their 30s and 40s is stupid. Tell you the truth, because if you in your 30s and 40s and you ain't figured out how to use your words to resolve problems and you're still fighting, there's something fucking wrong with you. Either you're one of them people. It's two things. One, you might be I think it was what card is that? Is that the seven of diamonds? I think it's the seven of diamonds. One of those cards is the card of the fighter. I gotta look it up. I'm tired right now. I forgot which card. But certain cards, but that's your warrior class. You know what I mean? Some people just like to fight. That's one thing. But most people who like to fight, they're pretty in control of when they fight, especially the ones who are trained in fighting, the ones who know how to box and karate. Those people are usually the most reserved when it comes to fighting, because they actually funnel their love to fight through a martial art, through boxing, through MMA. So they get to live that urge out 2 or 3 days a week during training. Those are the wise people who like. So I'm not talking about those people. I ain't talking about those people who just. I'm talking about the people who just. Because Draymond ain't no gangster. He really ain't. I'm talking about just regular ass people who still ain't figured out how to use their fucking words. So I personally think fighting is stupid as you get into your 30s and your 40s. If you still fighting to resolve your issues, nigga, you slow. Fuck your problem. You really should have gotten all that fighting out your system by high school. But I get fights in your 20s. If you were on pace, you should have been done with fighting in high school. But I get fighting in your 20s. You're fighting in your 30s, nigga. And you're not one of these people, man. You need help. You need to control that shit. You need to enroll in a martial art so you can get that urge out of you in training. If you're still fighting in your 30s, sign up for a boxing class. Sign up for jujitsu, nigga. Sign the fuck up for where the fuck. So I'm saying all this. You're speaking to somebody who thinks Draymond looks like a fucking idiot. Like, what could that dude have said so bad for you to want to fight? If you want to fight a nigga because of what they said, you just get that nigga all the control of your emotions. That's how DwannBrown personally feels. You fight a nigga, somebody said, nigga, he said something, so you about to risk money, you about to risk opportunities, you about to risk injury, the season's about to start. You can fuck your knuckles up, man, and mess your hand up and not be able to shoot all goddamn season. You're willing to risk all of that over what somebody said, nigga? Are you fucking serious? You're a goddamn idiot in my personal point of view. But that's me seeing both sides of the story. So for me, it's not about what I would do. That's what you gotta do, people. If you wanna learn from life, because I ain't no extra smart nigga. I'm just a nigga that be learning from life. And I let life teach me shit. And then when I figure out the lesson, that whatever lesson it is life's trying to teach me, Whenever I finally figured that shit out, I change and I use it. But you can only get to that point to where you learn the lessons of life when you see yourself as the observer and not the participant. The key to observing life is to observe life, to see yourself as the observer. You're the person watching the movie. You're not in the movie. Black people, white people, Mexicans, Latinos, Asians, who are the fuck is watching? Indians, women, men, transsexuals, pansexuals, where the fuck you name yourself. It's only one story, and that's called the human story. And you got to see this shit as a story, and you're observing the story. So when you see things happening in the media, you're watching, whether we're talking about Kanye or whether we're talking about Draymond Green or where the fuck we talking about. You're watching it. You're not you. You're not the story. The problem people have is this. The first thing people say is, well, if that was me, I would've. Nigga, first of all, if it was you, you wouldn't be there because you wasn't good enough to make the NBA. Nigga mopping floors, talking about something if that was me. Nigga, if that was you, you'd be mopping floors. Exactly what you doing with. You ain't even, you're not. So we can off top say you don't even know you from that perspective, the minute you say if that was me, if you don't have that person's series of experiences, you can't put yourself in that situation. You know what I mean? Oh, that was you on the Skype? I appreciate that, Morris. Well, yeah, for those, yeah, Morris that called in on Skype. Okay. Yeah, for y'all that was watching my reading of Kanye West earlier, the shit just abruptly ended. But I think it's a software issue. I'm not gonna blame YouTube. I'm just gonna fix the software tomorrow. I come to y'all from my computer when I want to be all official. Come to y'all from my porch with a blunt in my hand when I want to be connect. You right, Eric Bond. People are trying to pump themselves up. You right. Kenneth Berry sports fans are worse than Draymond. Yeah, them football. The way people be fighting at the football games, shit. I think I'm gonna do a show on that one day pretty soon. But I'm telling y'all, man, don't put yourself in a situation. That's ego. That's ego going wild. Life don't give a fuck about you, so don't put yourself in it. You see things happening to two people, you try to understand both sides, and then draw a conclusion about, what would have been the best approach for you. But the minute you say, if that was me, I would have, you've now taken yourself out of the pool of understanding. You now can't understand the situation because you've chosen a side. And once you've chosen a side, all you're going to do at this point, now once you've chosen a side in the situation, now your ego is involved. And now all your ego is going to do is deal with confirmation bias. You're going to be biased in the information that confirms what you already think. Confirmation bias, look that term up. sets in when you've already chosen a side, when you've already chosen a perspective, a point of view. You then get confirmation bias. This is how your brain works. Whether you agree with this shit or not, this is what's going on in your mind. You're only going to latch on to this point information that confirms your bias. So y'all know me, man. My whole point of view and when I talk to y'all, I like to hopefully give you guys something to think about, some solutions. So tonight I gave you guys a lot I've been giving you guys a lot to just think about as far as how to approach things and how our brains work. If it's anything I want you guys to learn from tonight, that's don't choose sides. Don't say what I would have done or what he should have done. Not if you want understanding. Now, if you want your ego stroked, by all means, go right ahead and do that. If you want your ego stroked, by all means, talk about what you would have done and what they should have done. But if you want understanding, see what it is. I can see Poole thinking, man, we probably talking about some bullshit. Why the fuck, man? Read the cues. Read the body language. And as a man, you can't say everything you think you want to say. Sometimes it's best to shut up. Don't yip yap and jaw jack your way into getting your jaw jacked. And that's what happened. He yip yapped and jaw jacked and got his jaw jacked. If you know you're not a fighter, you don't want to fight, just chill. And bust their ass on the court. That's how you do it in basketball. You bust their ass on the court. And that's why, and the same thing with life. Somebody mad at you over something, you disagree with somebody, is it really worth fighting them over? Or is the better course of action for you to use their obvious discontent towards you as fuel to focus harder on what you do and make your win bigger and badder than it would have been had they not given you that hater bullshit? What's the better course of action? Whoop they ass now or whoop they ass through perpetuity? You throw hands, at some point that fight's going to have to end. Now, they'll remember that ass whooping, but people make up all kind of bullshit in their mind. They'll rationalize that ass whooping away. They're not going to learn the lesson from that ass whooping you gave them. They're going to rationalize that shit and put it on you. You can do that, or you can take what they're saying as motivation to make your wins bigger. What size win do you want the win? Do you want the win now, or the forever win? That's a decision that you have to make as a man. Do I take the fleeting, in the moment win that can possibly mess up other moves that I want to make? Or do I take what they saying and use that to help sharpen my knife? Because once my knife is sharp, I'm not gonna just cut them now. I could cut them every time they look at me. Every time they look in my direction, and you're going to have to look in my direction because I'm shining, your eye is naturally attracted to the glow. You're going to have to look in the nigga's direction. Do I want to cut you now? Or do I want to cut you every fucking time you look in my direction? Because you're going to have to look, motherfucker. And so those are the decisions you have to make as a man. And I said all that to say, I appreciate that jam hold 88. He did push him. If you notice, I did this whole thing without even really going into the fact that old light skin pushed him. If you push somebody, that means you know how real it is. But I did this whole breakdown in 85 minutes without even bringing up the fact that Poole pushed him. There's no need to even bring it up. Because if you, as a gentleman, are in touch with your environment as you should be, you would have read all you needed to read. You might have been able to avoid that situation. He said Richard Sherman got Russell Wilson. See, I didn't watch the game. I don't know. Yeah, I said I made this whole case for you guys without even bringing up the push. Well, I brought it up, but I didn't expound on it. I didn't need to expound on a push because we knew a fight was ready before the push happened. The push just lets us know that he knew a fight it was time to fight. That his push just ends our speculation. If he pushed a nigga, that means he knew that nigga wanted to fight. Ooh, Mars is up now. Oh, let me tell y'all something. That's right, P. Rothstein. You use a solid brother. If you go back and forth with a man, there's a solid possibility that hands are gonna get thrown. That's not unreasonable. Unreasonable is shooting somebody over something said. That's unreasonable. Killing somebody over an argument, that's unreasonable. But socking somebody out, that's not unreasonable. Hell, that's how men used to start problems. Just fight the shit out, then go back to being cool. No lingering hoe-ass feelings. You know what I mean? Can't just go back and forth with men. You right about that, bro. You right about that. That's another man law for you brothers who may have been lacking in your raising in manhood. Don't go back and forth with men. That's some internet shit. That's what niggas do on the internet. That's not what men do in real life. In real life, it's only gonna be so much yippee-yapping and jaw-jacking before somebody's jaw get jacked. You can use it, just make sure you quote me when you use it. Remember that. Oh, and something I didn't mention on my card show earlier that I want to mention to y'all now. We're about to see a major disruption in this financial market coming at the end of October as we go into November. The market's about to get real volatile. We got an 8 of spades in Mars. And that planet up there right now, Mars is going into retrograde. And Mars corrects imbalance. And 8 of spades is financial institutions. So when I read that, you're about to see a lot of the job market is about to get, it's about to be a lot of motherfuckers getting fired as we get into November, as we get close to Christmas. So starting at the end of March, end of October, going into November, was been going on in the crypto market. That's about to go on in the stock market. I think the whole replay of 2008, but worse. When I read the cards, that looks like it may start in November. So pay attention, screen record this, and holler at me in December and tell me if I was lying or not. Or holler at me in January, because that's what's coming. I meant to say that earlier on the reading show, but the shit kicked me off. Yeah, so but yeah, I'm about to get the fuck up out of here. Thank y'all for listening. I'm about to listen to some music. Shit. I've had 2 readings today and the show. And I got like 5 readings. Man, that's some readings tomorrow. I'm about to listen to some fucking music and just blow the rest of this weed and zone out. Thank y'all again for listening. Get your Black American Music Family Tree at incenseandashtrays.com. Book your session at breakthroughas.org. Get my book, Tell It Like It Is, The Art of Loving Communication. Right now on Hotepish.com. Well, both my books are on Hotepish.com. Get that. All right. Y'all make sure y'all have a good one. There are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages. For those willing to pick up the game, I'm out.